Live.
YouTubers.
All right.
It is now.
Audacity.
What's up, YouTube?
Audacity. Audacity.
T is next.
No. It's an Audacity. A city of Audaz.
Audacity.
No. Audacity.
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 It's a city of cute dads.
Wait a minute. Did we Audacity yet?
Technically,
No Audacity yet.
Technically, it's the city of Da. And what we're saying is, Audacity. Like,
Audacity.
It's a city you can see and you're pointing at, like, Audacity right there. That's where we're supposed to go.
Audacity. It's like you're saying, Chicago City? No.
Like
New York City? No. Like Los Angeles City? No. Audacity. Yeah, Audacity. That's what
Wow.
it is.
it's like we're in the Appalachians.
All right, we got the Audacities ready to go then.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Count it down in 3, 2,
Wait.
1.
Oh.
Oh
Sorry.
my
Sorry.
God!
I'm sorry.
It's got to be somebody, right?
Distracted.
Yeah, it does. No, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready now.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. And to a very special episode of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast. Tonight, we are doing our E3 results.
E3
show. We are here. We have Mr. Owens is back from his European. Is Greece considered Europe? Greece is considered Europe.
It's Europe.
European vacation. Welcome back, Josh.
Dude, Greece is amazing. Let me tell you. If anybody was ever made to live in a certain place with a certain type of people, it was me for Greece. Those people are awesome.
Wow.
The food is amazing.
That's cool.
I love the area. It was great. I didn't want to come back.
I've always wanted to go to Greece. That's one of the places I'm going to have to go to at some point.
John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John. Lots of good people there.
Yeah, the voice you
wrong
hear.
Greece.
Guest. Evan Steele. Welcome, Evan, to the podcast.
Hello. It's good to be the generally accepted nastiest judger of predictions in the game.
Here we go.
Wow,
We're
he's
taking
playing
over.
hardball. Playing hardball today. And then also, as always, Dave Man.
Yeah, I mean, what did you expect? Was I not going to show?
Right.
I mean, it's the
No, you're-
E3 show. So I'm
It
here.
is.
Plus, I mean, I got to get
It
my
is.
reward
Thank you.
at the end, so I have to show up,
Confidence.
give my my acceptance
Confidence. All right, so I am Chad, and this week is going to be a little bit different than normal. Might be a little bit longer than normal, but we'll do our best. We are going to go ahead and let Evan here shortly go ahead and let us know who won our predictions. If you remember, I believe 3-4 weeks ago or so, each one of us gave 10 predictions for the E3 press conferences. Evan has judged those based on truth and what actually happened and what we said, and he's going to give us points based on those things. And then the winner, between the three of us with the most points, will win actually in its $30 PlayStation
Oh, sweet.
Network money because you cannot buy it in $25 increments.
Ah.
So it has already been purchased. I have the codes on my phone right now, so they'll be given away as soon as this podcast is over to whoever won.
that.
$30 PlayStation money.
And of course, if nobody reaches the 50% correct ratio,
Nope.
Wait, what?
That was never put out in the rules. Nice try. Nice try. Don't make it your last E3 showing.
I would also just like to say again that I am I'm very ecstatic and thrilled that we were able to get Evan.
Josh had no
Okay.
Nintendo predictions.
I
He hates
yeah,
them.
I'm very happy that Evan's doing this. I think he's an upstanding guy and just very, very full of integrity. And
And so, how the podcast will go after Josh is done getting his nose out of places. We'll go through the points. Those will be awarded, and then we'll run through quickly the press conferences, the high points, and we'll give our takes and thoughts on all the things that were announced and shown, and we'll talk about them and let you, the listener, know how we feel about those things, and then we'll wrap her up. So, without further ado, we will mention one more thing. Dave, we're giving some things away still, are we not?
Yeah, Chad, we are. And what we're giving away is a PS4. Surprise! If you haven't listened to the last 6 or 7 episodes, you wouldn't know we were giving away a PS4. But we are, and we're going to give it away a week or so before Black Friday. So in case you don't win it, you can still get in on the good deals. But here's a way that you can enter this month. Subscribe to us on YouTube. It's quite simple. Last month, don't worry about what that is because you can no longer get there that way. And also, we had a special way that we are also done with. So don't worry about that. But thanks for those that did, by the way, check out the Star Wars Rant podcast and listen to our debate and give us your best question. That's really cool. And you got an extra entry. So anyways, like always, if you want to subscribe to us on Patreon or support us on Patreon, whatever you call it, you will always get an extra one each month that you do that, but you do not have to pay to get an entry. Just simply follow the rules each month that are laid out. And like I said, this month is subscribe to us on YouTube. And then I'm going to say a bunch of other words that say what I've already said again, and I'm just going to keep doing this until I decide to stop because I don't get the microphone very often on the South Dakota Gamer podcast. I mean, I'm probably the
true,
person
even a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true either. You keep saying these words.
But anyways, yeah. I mean, somebody's going to get that PS4. Somebody's going to get it. It could be you. Evan. Not that I'm expecting it to be you. I was just saying Evan because, I mean, not that it couldn't be you. I'm just saying.
It would be nice if I could win a PlayStation, even though I have one. But what would be really nice is if one of you would win this $30 PlayStation card.
Yeah,
there we go.
Evan, but wait a second. You are not the segue person. I am the segue person, and I was not done with my speech.
Well, you would really
I wanted to talk about
turbulence. I was trying to write the
This is like Segwayception.
I wanted to talk about real quick, how great I thought you were.
Okay.
At what?
Really?
Listen, I feel like that's already it's been done.
I'm just kidding. Evan.
Okay.
Evan, I'm asking you. I'm just saying your name because I want you to say what.
Last year.
Oh.
Last year we did this.
Did you
Yes,
watch
we did.
E3, Evan? Because that was necessary.
I watched E3, sadly, okay? I still wish I could just go back in time and have it in front of me, but it has already happened. But I think back to last year and how poorly you folks performed and how we talked about performing better. We put stakes on the line, and let's see if that actually happened. And when I think of people who really took it seriously this year, I think of one David Mann.
Yes. Starting off on the right foot, my friend.
So let's start here. Now, these seem pretty cut and dry. But if you have any questions, now is the moment to fight for your points. Or fight for other people to lose points. Those
Wait,
of you
what?
In the gallery.
So
Okay.
what's happening?
Number one.
Okay. I would like to fight for David to get 0 points, please.
Yeah, are you saying that we are fighting against each other, or what is happening?
He's saying plead your case if you feel you need to.
When you're on our point, like that specific point?
When it's at the point, that's
Right.
the time
Okay.
to speak.
Okay.
If you let it go
Nicholas, the
by,
longest podcast in history.
hey, I'm quick at this. Okay. First thing. Dave said there'd be a brand new IP to go along with the Scorpio. There was no brand new IP. He gets no points.
Correct.
Second, Visceral Star Wars. We're going to know what that story is all about. Visceral Star Wars did not show up at the conference. You get no points.
Correct.
Title for Spider-Man and full story trailer. We saw what I assume is the title and definitely what was a full trailer. You get the points. So 1 point there for Mr. Mann.
Thank
Next, we'll see a new game from Sucker Punch. No dice.
you. Unfortunate.
Boo.
Sony reveals Red Dead Redemption gameplay. Nope.
Unfortunate.
Then we move on to Nintendo.
Yeah, here we go.
The obvious slam
Heavy.
dunk. You went with Smash Brothers Switch announcement. We did not get An
So
announcement.
unfortunate.
Crazy.
So you get no points. Announce a Pokemon game. You definitely got
Now-
the point here.
Now, this is where I have to speak up. Because if I'm gonna lose my chance, I was gonna hold it till later.
Go
But
for
if I'm
it.
gonna lose my chance, I think if anyone's gonna get bonus points, it's gonna be me on this question because they announced not one Pokemon game for the Switch, they announced 2 Pokemon games for the Switch.
At the moment, I'm only allowing you to argue for a point or not a point. So would you like to argue this to not be a point? Because right now I
Why-
give you a point.
Why would that make any sense?
You have the points. Do you want to argue it or move on?
No.
Okay, good.
Thanks for
let's,
clarifying that after.
Let's go ahead and keep arguing that.
A Metroid game would be announced for the Switch. A Metroid game was announced for the Switch. You get the point. Okay,
Much excited.
2 more chances. We've got 3 so far. Here we go. A new Joy-Con, specifically a left Joy-Con with a D-pad. Nope. And Virtual Console for the Nintendo Switch. Also a no. Your score at the end, sir, is 3 out of 10. 30%. Okay. So there was very little fighting there. See, these are also cut and dry. Josh Owens, I hope I don't give you any spoilers as I review these on you. Okay,
No big
here we
deal.
go. Number 1, a new Marvel game would be announced made by Rockstar. There was no new Marvel game announced, never mind one made by Rockstar.
Sadness.
A release date for the Spider-Man game. Nope. No release date.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
We got 2018. Are we not counting that at all?
No,
Of
that's
course not.
That's like a window.
that's nothing.
A release
Okay.
date. A date is a
I think-
specific day.
I think I should have worded my prediction better.
Yes.
What I meant was a time frame, but fine.
Well, I
Release
don't
date
think
is
they would have
very
accepted a time frame as a prediction, but anyway, prediction number 3: PSN
Time
game
frames.
changes allowed,
Sometime in the
announced by Hideo Kojima. No.
Wait, what?
Hideo Kojima, I don't remember that part.
Oh, it was the best part of his announcement. It was the best part of what he said. Okay.
I think that part was a joke part, but yeah. Either way, no PSN.
Either way, it didn't happen. New Elder Scrolls
Unfortunate.
game announced. No. No new Elder Scrolls
Boo.
announced. We continue on.
Hmm.
A new first-party, full PSVR game, not an experience. No. Did not see any first-party VR games from Sony. Tacoma release date from Fulbright. Yes, we saw that. That's about all we saw, but we saw a release date for Tacoma. And what was that release date?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Josh, you predicted the release date. What was it? If it was wrong, you lose a point.
I think it's August. something
It
early.
is. Yeah, I have it. August 2nd.
Okay. The Order 1886 is going to get a sequel. That was not announced. You get no points.
One more sadness.
Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 Remastered would have a standalone, would be sold standalone. That was not announced. No points. Supermassive will announce their new game. They announced 3 new games, so you do get the point.
All right, Dave, you and I are we're gonna come back. We're gonna circle back to a couple things here after we're all done.
Okay. And a new Campo Santo game announced. Not that I knew about.
Boo.
So after all that, that's 2 out of 10 for 20%. 2 out of 10.
Evan in the percentages here.
Chad,
Yes,
you
sir.
have to beat 3. Do you think you beat 3?
Well, I know the answer, but
Okay.
keep the listeners in suspense.
Well, you might be in suspense, my friend. Okay.
I don't
So-
know how I could be.
Your first prediction was disqualified. We don't count it. Because
I'm sorry, you didn't get authorization to disqualify predictions. Nice try.
No,
I have 1 point.
Actually,
Continue on to question
your
number two.
first
please.
question was your first prediction was that Scorpio price and date would be announced, and it's not my place to disqualify you for that. But the fact that these two goons let that go is pretty
I
sad.
didn't.
You know,
So-
they could have
didn't.
come out
Chad
and
just
said
decided it.
a price or date, but not one or not both.
So let's just
I
put
mean,
it this
there's
way.
a lot of options that could have happened.
I have a star system, so we're giving you points, but there's also a star system in case of a tie. So you get -1 star for that prediction. So you do get a full point,
I
but you have a negative
don't
star.
authorize.
Okay.
That's,
I
I give myself 3 thumbs up for the penmanship. So I have
You
a
know-
negative star, 1 point, and 3 thumbs up.
You know how in like grade school when you get like stars next to your name if you did something good and like the colors meant how good it was. Well, Chad didn't get a gold star or a
Red one.
silver star or a green star. Chad got a poop brown star next to that prediction.
Nice.
Okay. Prediction number 2. Kojima, after announcing that there would be name changes, was going to give us more from Death Stranding. He did not. He did not even show up. Bethesda gives us a title for the new IP. That did not happen. No. Trailer for the new Avengers game. No, didn't happen. Visceral Star Wars gives us an action trailer. They didn't show up. They don't matter. Let's see here. A trailer for Final Fantasy VII and info about the first chapter or the first section of that. Didn't happen. We didn't see anything like that. Crackdown 3 gets a release date. It did get a release date, so you are getting the point there. Trailer for the new Tomb Raider. Nope. So I've got 2 left here, and you have 2 points. Next. BioWare will show a new IP.
Should
and
have
it
ended
will-
there.
And it will be Knights of the Old Republic.
Dang, Chad.
Now, this is a hard one.
Got ambitious.
This is a hard one because it's hard not to give you half a point here. BioWare will show
What?
new IP.
That's not where it stops.
I know. But it's hard not to say they did show
Partial.
us new IP.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, he makes sense on this one here.
So these guys are going to have to convince me not to give you half a point here.
Well, then
I think you
he's
need. I
giving
think
me
you need to
half a
give
point
Chad
now.
that. Go ahead and give Chad that star back for that one.
You can have a star.
No points with a star.
No
Back
points.
to
You
zero
can have the
stars.
Chad is
star.
back to
Still
Chad is
got
back
3
to 0
thumbs.
stars.
Chad, I'm giving you half a point. These guys don't have any argument against it. You're getting half a point.
Yeah.
Bethesda will announce a Wolfenstein game. They did. So on my score here, you got 3.5.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Chad wins. Congratulations, Chad.
Which is 35%. Any arguments? No argument.
Nope. All right, moving on. EA
Wait
started
a
their
minute.
press.
He already said we couldn't argue anymore. He said he gave you the point.
He asked for arguments.
He specifically said they have no arguments, so I'm giving you half a point. So then he's
Oh, I
going
don't-
now. Is he going back
I'm
and
not-
saying now we can't argue?
No, I'm not arguing Chad's points. I wanted to circle back.
That was the only thing I disqualified. I said no circling back. You want to triangulate the position, fine, but we're not doing any circular motions.
Oh, brother.
I would love to triangulate back because in my humble opinion, I fully expected Dave to get extra points or something extra for the 2 Pokemon games instead of 1 because he did predict that. And if he does, then I also fully expected to get extra because there were multiple supermassive games as well. Just throwing it out there. I'm not going to stonewall on it.
I'll take it. I'll take it under advisement.
Well, if Chad's getting half a point for saying that BioWare has a new IP and then you're stopping there and not saying it's KOTOR,
Yep.
then I think I should also get half a point from Nintendo announcing that there was another Metroid game. It was just for the 3DS and not the Switch, but it was another Metroid game that they announced.
And we got a year for Spider-Man. So, no, I'm just kidding on that one.
Hey, I would love to not give it to Chad. Okay, his predictions stunk.
Hey.
They were terrible.
Hey.
I don't want to give it to him.
Hey.
I just need a real argument to not give it to him.
I mean,
I was arguing for the extra.
I threw out my thoughts on
All right,
scoring.
Chad,
So, that's all
He
I'll
said
say.
he was.
once again you win, but let's try to crack 50% next time, okay, guys?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, there you go.
Bravo. Chad is on a streak. 2 years in a row.
I'm on a streak of two. Streak of two. All right. So we didn't do that great on our predictions, but they were fun to make. They were hopeful, some of them, I think. And you know what?
I was so surprised that some of these did not come true.
That's good. Yeah. Let's get into that. Let's go through these press conferences. First off,
Hey, Chad.
Josh. Yeah.
Before you say anything, make sure you buy a good game with
Yeah.
that money. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Right.
forgot about
First of all,
Dave wins either way.
Yeah. Right. That's fun. Yeah. All right. So Josh was on his honeymoon, as we mentioned earlier. So he didn't get back till recently. And as you know, if you've gotten married or go on a trip, there are always tons of things to do when you get back. So he was not able to see every press conference that was done. He did get to see a few of them, but not every single one. So just start off there. But I want to ask the group your overall feelings on E3 in general. Obviously, the show floor was open today at the time of the day of this recording, and people are playing games. There's more things that are being shown, but for the press conferences, overall, was it a better year, worse year, about the same? What do you think, Dave?
It wasn't as good as last year, I don't think, overall. But it's weird because different conferences did better than they did last year. For example, Nintendo did better than they did last year, even though they only had 30 minutes of, and it was still disappointing to me and still underwhelming than what it should have been. It was more exciting because you already have the Switch out and you're getting to see what you're finally going to get to play on it. Xbox had a much better conference than they did last year. Sony had the way I describe Sony's conference is it was a sequel that was not as good as the original. Being last year's conference, they absolutely slaughtered.
Sure.
This year, they basically showed all the same stuff, just a little bit more, and announced very, very little new things. So
that seemed to be the theme, doesn't it? This year, not a whole lot of new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the games they have are awesome. They have the better exclusives, but that's still all they have. After a year, another year goes by, they're basically just showing us more of what we still couldn't play last year. You know, it's closer to coming. It's closer.
Sure.
So, I mean, as far as exciting in that aspect, the conference I was most excited about was Microsoft's, to tell you the truth, because they showed the most. They showed the most. What's the word I'm looking for? They definitely improved
Stuff from next year.
a lot. They definitely improved from last year, head over heels, and showed a bunch of good, cool stuff. Whether it was cross-platform exclusives, their new console. I mean, yeah, it's good.
How about you, Evan? Overall, how'd you feel about E3?
I don't want to be the downer or the game grump or name that expression, but sheesh, not a lot of stuff that we can play right away from anybody. Just over and over and over. The theme was this is coming out next year, or You've already seen it 3 times.
Sure.
Yeah, it's I don't think anybody was terrible. Nobody had a super poor showing, but very hollow.
All right, Josh, for what you did get a chance to see, what are your impressions?
All right. So full disclaimer, I only watched EA's conference, portions of EA's conference. I watched all of EA's conference that wasn't sports.
Fair.
Because I don't understand why you spend that much time. I understand they have a competitive gaming market that they're trying to play to. It's freaking E3. Like, do your competitive gaming stuff somewhere else. In my opinion, like, that's not what the masses are watching E3 for. I don't think. I think they spend way too much time on it. So I skipped through all that and I watched the other stuff from EA. I was really excited about A Way Out. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was unclear if that's coming to all platforms or just Xbox. I don't remember if they said. That looked cool. Like EA's conference was okay. I'll say this about EA's conference because I felt the same way last year and I just kind of shrugged it off. And the year before, I think EA, like, I get it, they're a huge game developer and they're doing some stuff. They're a huge company. EA feels real dirty to me. Like, they just feel dirty. I don't like any of those people, and I can't quite put my finger on it. EA feels like a nasty, dirty company, and they put out some good stuff. We're getting Battlefront 2, and it looks awesome, and they're doing right by the players, in my opinion, this time around with that. But just as a whole, and like their track record with some of the stuff that has gone on in the past with them, between like them and their consumers and all kinds of stuff, they just feel dirty. I don't like them as people, I don't think, but hooray for some new games. And I watched Sony's conference, so I think they've put it perfectly. It was like a sequel, not quite as good. A lot of the same stuff, just more. I was excited to see a lot more of, like, the Spider-Man gameplay. Days Gone looks really cool. But yeah, just not quite as bombastic and as impressive as last year.
Very gimmicky.
Sean Layden, that was the other thing. Yes, thank you, Dave. That was the other thing. This year felt very, from what I saw, like I saw clips of some of the other stuff, like as it was happening, like on Facebook and stuff like that. And like a lot of it seemed very gimmicky. A lot of it did, but especially Sony's conference, like stuff that just seemed very unnecessary. Last year they had a full orchestra, and it was just so well put together. It was very theatrical. It was very impressive. And this year they've got like a 4-piece like Persian band or whatever sitting on the stage, seemingly for like they play a full song. Like there's not even a video playing while they're playing it. It's just them.
There's just water with some projections on it.
Yeah, the waterfall with the projections and stuff. Like it just seemed odd because that stuff would be cool in addition. Like if there was something else happening during that, or it just seemed odd to make that a focal point.
Prefacing a game.
Like, how long
I mean,
well, it was prefacing a game, but like they weren't showing like a video along with it. Like there was, it just seemed odd that was a focal point.
It wasn't concurrent with anything. It was just on its own.
Yeah,
for a long time.
It was awkwardly long. So yeah, I don't know. Like it was.
Wait, can we please?
That's really all I saw in full.
Maybe you didn't see this, but I want to please reference the dead bodies hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, right.
Yes, during the conference.
Let's get there when we get there.
Yeah,
Chad, how about your overall thing?
We'll
we can get into EA.
Oh, I concur with you guys. E3 is awesome. This podcast will start off with Bing Crosby singing "It's the most wonderful time of the year," because for gamers it is. E3 is Christmas, and it's the best. And I anticipate it and look forward to it. I've got pages and pages of notes. The outline is chock full this week. I love it, but overall, it was a little bit of a letdown just because I think we're used to the last couple years, just huge, big, awesome announcements. Death Stranding, Spider-Man for the first time, Days Gone for the first time, all these great, exciting things. And then this year it's like, oh, it's the same things. Okay, it's cool. I'm still excited for that, but there's nothing like, and it's going to be here this year. It's going to be here 6 months. It could be 12 months or more. So a little bit of disappointments, but that's Similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. When that movie first came out, no one really knew them. Did great, awesome movie. People loved it. The sequel comes out, still a fantastic, good movie, but it's hard to live up to the hype of the first one.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like E3 was for this year. It's hard to live up to last year's hype. So overall, a little underwhelming, but still, it's E3, and I like it. So EA started off Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to run through things. If you want to interject or say something specific, or if I miss something, just do so. Interrupt me. It's conversation. That's not just me going through bullet points, even though that's what we have.
I'm just going to put this here then. I still think
Yeah.
it's dumb to put a story mode in sports games.
And
I think I
they're
said that
trying to
last
make
year.
it different. Yeah,
I know.
they did
I know.
that.
It's
NBA did
definitely
that last
different.
year.
I still think it's dumb.
I understand
But
why
that's
they
all
want,
I'm
why they are trying to give it a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I get it too.
Yeah.
They're trying to widen their audience. They're trying to get people like me to play
But
those
it is
games.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's dumb.
Well,
It is
it's
weird.
also
So
you got to think in a sports game, they have to give you a reason to buy it every year. And every couple of years, a player might go, I got Madden 16 and 17. Do I need Madden 18? And if you don't have something that year
Right.
to catch them in, and that's where that story is.
No
If you
reason.
don't get it, you're not part of the community. You're not, you have to do it.
Fair.
Yeah.
So Madden's getting a story mode this year.
weird.
Bringing the guy from House of Cards, right? And also he was on Luke Cage Netflix show. He was one of the main actors. I don't know his name. But yeah, so that's going to be there. Then they went to Battlefield 1, saying that there's 20 million players playing that game. I am one of those players. I am neck deep in that game again. And they announced some new DLC, some coming out in June, some coming out in July, and then their big one in September, In the Name of the Tsar, which will give us some Eastern Front, cold, snowy Russian troops, new assignments, new ribbons, things like that. So I'm excited for that.
That's cool.
Then some football, some FIFA 18. Showed Need for Speed Payback, an open world racing game, which looks a lot like Fast and the Furious to me. Like that's the vibe I got from that. A lot of slow-mo car takedowns.
Let's
Like
take a
a lot
moment
of
here,
them.
though. Let's take a moment here to make fun of EA. This part of the press
Thank you, Evan.
conference was awful.
It was horrendous.
They have people stand up, and you could tell the teleprompter wasn't working, and they didn't know the lines because they didn't care about what they were saying. So they just looked at each other like, I don't know what to say here, and it was bad. This conference could have been 20 minutes and would have been interesting and nice. And instead, we got this clunky, let's go to the Creators Lounge, which was
Yeah, that was real
an
weird.
abomination.
Thank you, Evan,
Yeah.
for bringing that up too, because like there are buzzwords that I freaking hate hearing, and I like it
YouTube
automatically sends my mind to douche. You're a douche.
Yeah.
And like
Hey, man, I'm
when
a
you keep
YouTube
talking about
creator.
when you keep talking about like the Creators Lounge and creating content and like all that stuff, like stop it. Like you're not saying anything. You're saying just words that are popular words right now. And so I'm supposed to be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Yeah, that drove me nuts.
He's so
I
cool.
hated that.
Yeah. So that happened, and then they did some EA original things. They're talking about working with some people, and the guy that made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, has making another game called A Way Out, and this is a prison escape game, a co-op only game. It can be couch co-op, and he also did come out on Twitter and say it is online as well, coming out 2018. It reminded me a lot of Prison Break.
Yeah.
But it looks really, really cool and super interesting.
This is my favorite new IP of the conference. I am so excited. I love the first game. Very excited to get my hands on this and go through it with people.
Yeah, very unique.
I love that it doesn't
Excited
stop
for
at
that.
escaping from prison either. Like there's apparently
Yeah.
more to do outside. That's cool.
Right. Very cool. All right. Then probably the big thing. BioWare did announce their new IP, and they said we'd see more at Microsoft. And they showed a little bit of background, and then a mech suit, and then the title Anthem. So we could talk about it now, or we could wait till we get to the Microsoft part. I'm sure there's some talking we're going to do here. Do you want to wait?
Let's
Wait.
get out of E3.
What's that, Dave?
Let's get out of EA.
Okay. Next, NBA Live. That game's coming back. It's been 2 years since EA has done an NBA game because 2 years ago that game was bad.
I was clutchy.
And then finally, their big thing for EA is they showed Star Wars Battlefront 2. They showed an entire match pretty much of Feed multiplayer. They also did mention you can play on Crate. John Boyega came on and said that you'll be able to play as him and Captain Phasma. All DLC will be free. And they didn't show any single player really whatsoever. So they focused on the multiplayer, had some real dumb shoutcasters as if that's the cool thing now. And we got to watch some real bad pilots crash into buildings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the best multiplayer match, but
This whole Star Wars thing, 30 minutes. They previewed at the beginning. We got 30 minutes of Star Wars. I'm like, wow, that sounds awesome. This was the most boring, worst 30 minutes of Star Wars content I've ever consumed, and I've watched the Christmas special. Okay? Like,
wow. This strong statement.
I cannot believe. I thought we're going to hear about both games. We're going to hear all this in-depth stuff, and they're like, look, we got battle droids. Let's watch them.
Yeah. It does remind me a lot more of Battlefield than Battlefront 1 did, which, again, I'm neck deep in Battlefield. I like. Like, just the look and the way things are done. It reminds me a lot of Battlefield with a Star Wars skin on it, which... But, yeah, it was long. It was not great.
The game looks good, but...
It does look good. It seemed weird to me that they made such a big deal out of the fact that there's a story mode now, and then they spent zero time on the story mode, and they did all multiplayer again.
Yep.
I think that's a weird move because story mode was what everyone was looking for. That was the biggest deal, and they acted like they were going to talk about it, and then all they said was where the story takes place. I thought that was weird.
Yep. All right. Next up, then, we have Microsoft, Sunday, 4 p.m. Central Time. I believe the longest of the podcasts, as far as our podcasts, press conferences as far as time goes. Obviously, we know Microsoft is bringing the codename Scorpio, and we thought, according to my prediction, we'd get a price and a date, which we did. They came out and gave a lot of numbers on the specs, said it was the smallest Xbox console to date, which... whoop-de-doo, good job. And then they got right into Forza Motorsport 7. They put a car, not out of the ceiling this time, but they put it on the stage, and it was the new Porsche. Looks a lot like Jazz. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, that's Jazz from Transformers.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you guys not watch Transformers? That's exactly what it does.
It took me a second
yeah.
to figure out what you were talking about with Jazz. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's from Transformers. So, I don't know. Do any of us care about Forza? It looked pretty.
It looked awesome, but I don't care.
Yeah, me neither. Then they showed a game that I didn't see coming at all, Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
2018 release. Those first two games real good.
Yeah.
And this one looked fantastic.
Yep.
Did you guys play through all of both the first games?
I finished the first one. I'm in process on the second, but I'm a big fan.
Good games. Then we got Assassin's Creed Origins, which everyone, the internet's worst kept secret. Release date 10/17. A couple things that I wrote down that I noted. This is one of my favorite things that I'm excited about again. It had a compass system instead of a mini-map, similar to Skyrim, a compass at the top of the screen. And then there are also different levels of gear. Like I saw a yellow bow being put in place of a non-yellow bow like Destiny. Gear levels, which I was like, ooh, I like this. So it looked fantastic. Dave, you sent me a GIF or a little short video of him running through like a town square on a horse.
Yeah, he was walking through the town square. It was right when he came into a village and got like some XP, I think, for discovering it. And then as he's walking underneath it, just the tip of the spear that was on his back hit a little piece of fabric and it moved, which I thought was interesting because from everything we've seen, you don't have to always carry a spear. So that makes me think that it was something that they are paying attention to, just detail as far as your player affecting the world around him. So I thought that was really cool. It was just a slight, minute detail
It was just the tip.
that I liked. Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Is anyone excited about Assassin's Creed at all?
Yes, absolutely. I'm
Okay,
so
good,
stoked about this.
I wouldn't call myself excited. My interest is peaked again.
Yeah.
I'll say. I think taking a year off was a good call for them.
Mm-hmm.
Evan, you're shaking your head no. Did you ever like Assassin's Creed, really?
I've never liked Assassin's Creed, and they took a year off, and it looks
Okay.
like Assassin's Creed again. I don't know. I mean, if there wasn't anything that got me in, unlike other games like Wolfenstein, this is the first time I've ever seen a Wolfenstein trailer and went, wow, I'm interested. But
Sure.
this just looked like, okay, it looked like anything else.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so that'll be, that's just a few months away. And then next, we got a big one, which I had started hearing rumors about as we got closer that it may be true. But a real big, popular, just rose to the top real recently. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is in pre-alpha. It's in not even a game that's available fully. It's a launch, quote-unquote, launch exclusive, late 2017 for Microsoft. So that's basically a battle royale game that's on Steam that a guy used to make mods for Rust and a couple other games on Steam, made his own game. And basically, we've talked about it briefly on the podcast before, but it's battle royale or Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Everyone's dropped onto an island. Last one to survive wins.
It's so yeah, it does look good. It's so pre-alpha that they just got climbing.
Yeah.
They just added
I
climbing
saw the
to the
GIF
game.
where they added mantling and going over a wall. This just was added. Woo! We could climb walls.
Yeah.
So it's very early, but I'm sure Microsoft is like, how much money do we need to give you to finish the game and then put it on Xbox first?
Yeah, this is a big get for Microsoft. Just the question is, how long is this exclusive? Because
How long? Yep.
Players or developers had to have learned the lesson of Tomb Raider. Don't do a year.
Mhm.
But then we saw Playdead do a week and a half or whatever that was.
All right. For Inside.
So
Yeah.
is this closer to the week and a half or is this closer to a year? Because that's a
Okay,
huge
Chad.
difference.
Yeah.
Double or nothing here. Predictions on how long that exclusive window is.
I bet it's not quite a year, but I bet it's a good 6 months.
If it's a window, you can just give a year, Josh.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
You have to.
I bet it comes out on PlayStation 2018, but I bet Microsoft, being the PC company and the big company they are with lots of money, he gave him a lot of money, and he's going to be able to do a lot with that money, and that being the reason Microsoft to have it for a good amount of time.
Here's the other question. Will it be on Xbox in 2017?
Well, they said late 2017.
I know what they said.
That's what they said. I hope so. I would assume that they're. I mean, even if they get the mode or the version of the game it is now on, it'd be better than not.
We've had similar games like DayZ and H1Z1 be announced for consoles, and 3 years later still don't have them. So
Sure. Yeah. I bet I'm just guessing Microsoft's money will make it happen. So I'm excited to play that game. That's going to be.
Me too, very much.
That'll be fun. Then we got an exclusive, which I think is actually an exclusive, a Deep Rock Galactic. Nobody? Okay.
I wrote down launch.
Next.
I wrote down launch exclusive. I don't know.
Okay.
Is that the
maybe
one
I
with the
missed that part
dwarfs?
then. Yeah, where you're mining a planet out, looks like Minecraft, kind of. But it looks interesting. Got a cool art style. Then we got an actual exclusive, State of Decay 2, with a 2018 date on it.
Ooh.
Which I wasn't overly impressed with the way that game looked, honestly.
It looked so bad.
I thought it was awesome. I'm really looking forward to playing that game.
Did you play the first one?
Yeah, I mean not a lot because I didn't have multiplayer. But
Well, yeah.
really
There's no multiplayer to it, and that's the thing it's looking for is well, show me the co-op, and they didn't show any co-op, and they know that's what the community wants. I'm frightened that they may not have it. That was bad. State of Decay is a game I care a lot about. I put a bunch of hours into it. My brother liked it. We just wish we could have played together. And wow, I could not I could not have imagined how turned off I would be by that gameplay we saw.
All right. Next, we've got. I have the Darwin Project written down. Any thoughts on that one? Real big impressions on the Darwin Project.
Isn't that another Hunger Games looking thing?
Yeah, it started the way they showed this one was they had this weird shoutcaster come out on stage and just begin shouting really excitedly about the last two to survive, and oh no, what's he got? He's gonna do this. And then this one is integrated with Mixer, which is Microsoft streaming, which was Beam, and now it's Mixer. And the people in the audience can actually give the players things. And so they gave a player a shield, but then the player died anyway. So,
This game seems like it's all of Josh's friends from EA who took all the buzzwords and tried to make, like, what would be a popular game in 2017.
Yep.
And it just does not look fun.
Just for the record, Polygon confirms that State of Decay is 4-player co-op. They say as seen in the trailer, which is what I thought I was seeing, was the 4 players were controlled by 4 different people, which is how I took it, but just for the record.
Multiplayer confirmed. State of Decay 2, 2018. All right, next we saw some Minecraft with a 4K super duper graphics update. Real pretty sunsets.
I don't know why
That's such a weird
game
thing.
with that art style needs
Yeah.
super duper graphics.
Yeah,
Now the edges
Better-
of the blocks
better
are
space.
sharper.
Yeah,
yeah. Some of
You
the
can see
foliage
further.
looked better.
maybe that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, okay, fine, that's fine. One cool thing they did say is that they're combining all consoles, PC and mobile, where you can play together, except for Sony,
Cool.
except for PlayStation.
Oh, well, come on.
Doesn't play well with others. So if you're on Xbox, you can play with the Switch version, you can play with the mobile version, you can play with the PC version, same worlds, same servers, things like that. So there we go. That's real cool. I like that idea. Next, we got Dragon Ball Z Fighter 2018. If you like your Dragon Ball Z, you like your anime, you like your fighting games, that looks really cool. I like Dragon Ball Z. It's real weird. It's real neat. I don't like fighting games, so I'll watch people play that one. Then we got an MMORPG Black Desert, which I believe is on the PC now.
Yeah, it's been around for a bit.
Popular, from what I understand. I'm not a big MMORPG guy, but if you are, it looks like it would be a good game to play.
It's like a Dark Souls MMO.
Very cool.
Cool.
Then one that came out that I thought had a really cool aesthetic, reminded me of Blade Runner a little bit, was The Last Night. I had people saying it looks like Flashback, which I'm not entirely
That's
sure
what
what
I said.
Flashback is, but yeah.
I played
okay.
that on the Sega Genesis. It's also on the Super Nintendo,
Okay.
but yeah, it does look very much like Flashback.
I like the style. I really dig it.
Actually, for those of you wondering, the full title, because I actually wrote it down, the full title for Flashback is, wait for it, Flashback, The Quest for Identity. I always
Okay.
called it Flashback. I never read the really fine print underneath it.
Sure.
I mean,
And
not
this
even
is The Last Night, and it
concept
looks a
of,
lot like it.
subtitles. But yeah,
Yeah, it looks really cool. Then we got a game called The Artful Escape, which is a dude playing a guitar, riding some weird things, and then it was very trippy.
if you smoke weed or do acid, get this game. You will like
Right.
it.
You will, you will like it. All right, and then we saw Code Vein 2018. This is that vampire game. Who's the developer of this? I did not write it down. I thought I did. They did a pretty popular game recently.
I missed this one. There's some
Oh,
I watched
neither.
this one in segments, and there's some I skipped over because after a few seconds I didn't care about the game. So
I didn't have any reaction. I wrote nothing down.
Okay.
I just wrote
That's
Code
a-
Vein.
It's a very interesting game. It's next year. It's. I know there's someone of note that's doing it, and I've failed to write it down. So sorry about that. 2018. Then we got the longest, from what if I remember correctly, the longest portion any one game got was Sea of Thieves. a 2018 release on that still, early 2018. What do you guys think?
I think it looks cool. I like it. I mean, it's not something. It seems like one of those games that I won't play a whole lot. Like, not at the level that Rocket League is. Like Rocket League, I play much more, but in that vein, where it's kind of like a party game that I play every once in a while with my friends to have fun and get a party and, you know, have some laughs and stuff, but not a game I'm going to spend, you know, 40, 50 hours in. Although I will say it does have potential to surprise, because I thought it was surprisingly deep as far as some of the elements they showed in the game,
Yeah. This is the game that Rare is making, the pirate game. Basically, you know, you're playing with your friends, you're stealing treasure, you're fighting other players, swimming away from sharks. So,
2018 is so disappointing.
yeah, it's been announced for quite a while, and you just want it to come out already.
Mm-hmm.
But that is one of Microsoft's actual exclusives. That's only going to be on the PC, the Windows Store, or the Xbox. So. All right. Next, after Sea of Thieves, we got Josh's game Tacoma getting an August 2nd release date. They gave us like 10 seconds of video and gave us a release date because it's so soon, maybe. I don't know, and moved right on past that one real fast. But it looks cool. I'm interested to play that.
It's also a smaller studio, so
It's pretty highly anticipated, I would say, by most people.
yeah. Well,
Based on what Fulbright's done recently.
yeah, by fans of Fulbright and like what they've done, I would say it's highly anticipated, but that may be a smaller segment.
Maybe that's just us.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just us. All right. Then we got Super Lucky Tale coming out in November 2017. This is the Oculus Rift launch title VR platformer, like mascot platformer. Lucky is a little fox. And now it's an exclusive, I believe a launch exclusive still, or maybe an actual exclusive on the Xbox side-scrolling mascot platformer 3D. Okay.
That surprised me to see.
Cool.
I mean, I wasn't. I forgot it was out there. My girlfriend knows people that work at this developer. They're in McKinney, Texas. So that was kind of cool to see them on the show, but not necessarily a game I'm looking forward to playing.
Yeah.
So
it might be fun to run through once,
but it's cool.
You know.
Yeah. And it's definitely something that my kids would enjoy.
Yeah.
But
and then next we've got Cuphead. Finally has a release date. Cuphead has a release date. September 29th. Ayo. That game is super stylistic. I love the art style. It's supposed to be real hard platformer. I'm looking forward to playing that game on the Xbox. It looks super rad. And I believe it looks like it's co-op now as well, because there's 2 players.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play that game, Cuphead. Woo! Again, Microsoft exclusive. Next, the Microsoft exclusive again. Crackdown 3 finally got a release date, November 7th. Terry Crews is on there, screaming and yelling and making his pecs dance. And then I think he's the main guy in the game, so we're going to get his voice throughout. It looks like Crackdown. Very color shaded, cell shaded, lots of orbs, got some high jumping, some jetpacks, lots of guns, blowing stuff up.
Lots of destruction in that game, right? Like environmental.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was a little surprised they didn't like bring a building down or do some major. They didn't.
I thought they would have, because that's how they premiered it, right? Like when they announced it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the Power of the Cloud bringing the building down mid-play.
Yeah.
And then that was supposed to be just during like the multiplayer sessions, but they didn't show any of that, which I was a little surprised at. But I'm excited. I liked Crackdown 1. That was a lot of fun. Crackdown 1. I didn't play it when it came out, but I went back to it later, and I enjoyed that game a lot. It was really fun. So Crackdown 3, November 7th. Then we got a montage of ID at Xbox games. Ashen was one that I wrote down. I don't remember exactly what that was, but that's one of them.
it looked like the Tale of Two Brothers type game, with 2 people playing on the same screen, going through caves and everything, dealing with like stuff.
Spiders.
It was
Stuff
strange.
like that. Okay, I do
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that now.
I'm sure there's some good games here, but they just seemed like several of them were mobile, like games from mobile that have been ported over. Or some of them looked rough, but a few of them I'm sure are
it's
great.
whenever you do the montage, yeah.
I'm sure a few of them are great.
I'm sure they are. Then we got some Square Enix stuff. Life is Strange, which the PSN was just free with PSN, the original episodic game. And they're releasing a prequel on August 31st, episode 1. It'll be a 3-episode game that'll give the prequel to the characters in Life is Strange proper. I've yet to start that, but I've heard nothing but real good things about that game. All right.
I've not played it, so I can't comment on it.
Me neither. I'm looking forward to it. Then we got Shadow of War. We've seen some things on this. We obviously know it's coming out in October, but they did show a little bit of interaction with Bruce the Orc, and he was real funny. Said some funny things and some assaults on a fortress. This game is a lot deeper than the first one. The first one was a lot of fun. Loved that first game, and I'm looking forward to playing this one.
I as well.
Next. Yes. Next, we got a really good, fantastic Microsoft exclusive Ori, which is a sequel, I believe, to Ori and the Blind Forest, which was a miraculous, fantastic, beautiful, fun game.
It's one of the best Metroidvania games you can play right now.
The music in that game is fantastic. They have the composer out with a grand piano playing while they show the trailer. It's a moving, emotional, and it sucks you right in. I loved Ori and the Blind Forest. I think I played through it twice. What a great game! And I had no idea that this was even a hint of a thing, and I'm super excited.
But no date on this, right? This is just an announcement.
Yep, no date, just an announcement.
What's weird is that I read that the title leaked a year ago, but then you didn't hear anything
And it just flew under the radar.
after that. Yeah. Somebody
Very cool.
had posted it. So it's been in the works for a while.
I'm excited to see that. Moving along, then we got an announcement of backwards compatibility with original Xbox games. So not only are you able to play the 300 or 400 Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One or Xbox One X, but now you can play the OG Xbox games, which KOTOR is an OG Xbox game. And if they put that in the list, I'm going to go get that game.
Or is that 360?
Jade Empire. Oh, yeah, that was a good one, too. That was original Xbox.
I mean, they're not gonna, you're not, some of them aren't going to play as well, obviously, because but you have still.
They will play
dual
better
analog sticks.
than they did.
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, some of some
Right.
things don't live up, even if you graphically enhance them.
They won't.
But
Yeah, you're right.
it is a huge deal to have basically your entire library available, which is very cool.
Very cool. And then finally, we got the date and the price of the Xbox Scorpio, which they named the Xbox One X.
I hate it.
November 7th, and the price is $499.
I hate it. Somebody let their 10-year-old kid name the new Xbox. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Do you hate Xbox
Speaking
One
of
S as well?
No, the S, I'm assuming stands for slim or something. We've seen things named something S before, like iPhone 4S. I don't know what it stands for, but that's a pretty standard naming convention. Get out of here with your Xbox One X. What are you doing? It's like a 10-year-old kid was like, you know what would be cool is put another X in there. And then they were like, okay, let's do that.
I think it's them trying to stay on brand with the S and the X. I think they're going to have letters.
How much more on brand can you be with Xbox? It's in the name. You're already on brand. Stop it with the X's.
Right. Well, it's an iteration of the original.
That same stupid person probably is like, hey, babe, you want to go to that new Italian restaurant down the street? Sure, when? 2018. Wait, what?
Wow.
No,
Your stomach in 2018.
what do you? No,
Yeah.
I mean, do you?
No, it's.
I want an actual date,
The
honey,
exciting,
not a window, a date.
the exciting thing is going to be the parents who are going to stores All right, now which one do you want? You want the okay? He's looking for the S. Did he want the S or the X? I don't know. Wait, which one? So
Wait, there's two.
Yeah.
What? What?
People are going to be spending either more money than they had to, or there's going to be some really sad kids because parents are going to be confused by these two things that sound just about identical.
Now, was it?
So I think I know the answer. Go ahead.
Well, okay, you may be about to say what I was going to say because I was going to bring up something you mentioned in the thread.
Who wants one? Who's interested in this? Like, I think I know the answer, but what's your interest level now, in the future, at all? Who's it for?
Are you legitimately asking?
I mean, I think I know the answer, but what's your opinion on that?
I feel like this is for hardcore gamers. This is for them. This is their attempt to bring over the PC master race to console gaming because now you can get great graphical fidelity and all kinds of stuff on console. I see Evan shaking his head. It's not. Look, I understand.
You've got to buy a 4K TV.
I know. I'm just saying, like the people, the PC master race that this would matter to probably already has that stuff.
But this isn't appealing to anybody who has a PC to come over. I think the best feature this thing has is it's got that 4K Blu-ray built in. I think that's the one smart feature they have, that if you want a 4K Blu-ray player, which I have a 4K TV and I don't have a 4K Blu-ray player, that's a nice feature. Other than that, if you don't have a 4K TV,
it's kind of like what they were saying
for people
about
that don't have a 4K TV. It is confirmed that it also is still going to play games better looking on your regular TV. You're not going to get the full power out of it if you don't have a 4K TV, but it's definitely going to still look better on your 1080p TV.
Yeah, it's like what they were saying about the Pro. It's, in my opinion, it's like a boutique item. It's, if you have the extra cash to throw at it, this is what you're going to get because it's the latest and greatest.
Future proofing as well. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I'm getting one for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. I would like to. I mean, I know a 4K TV is in my future. How far in my future? Probably a while until my TV I have now doesn't work.
That doesn't even play into my decision making.
Sure. No. Yeah. That's where I'm
at. Dave,
I would like to get it.
For you, Dave, is it the extra features that will be available with some of these games, and like is Microsoft doing exclusive, like some games will only work on Xbox One X, or will they be both, like Pro?
mainly it's because I don't have an Xbox right now.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I sold my Xbox, and I was always planning on getting another Xbox, and so it'd be stupid not to get this one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I mean, and the fact that because I'm getting the extra backwards compatibility, blah blah blah, I'm getting also whatever is going to be added in the future. That's going because eventually you're going to take steps, and it's going to be you're going to want the most powerful console. And the list of game, Microsoft convinced me with their conference that I still need an Xbox. I mean, because I got rid of my Xbox not because I didn't want it, but because it was the console I was playing the least out of the two, because my friends that I used to play there kind of moved on and got the group got fractured. So gosh, I mean, there's fractured, but not whole. I mean, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, which I still thought was great, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Tacoma, Anthem, especially Ori. I mean, those are reasons that I need to have an Xbox, because those are games I want to play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I mean, that's out there, and the Xbox One S obviously still does the 4K stuff as well. So it's out there. It's available. I don't think they expect it to be their best-selling version. I think they expect to be their best-selling version of the console continually. But that is there for, like Josh said, the hardcore gamers, the guys that have the Scorpio astrology sign on their Twitter handles. Those are the guys that are going to go buy this console right away, because they're head first all the way. They're all the way in, and that's cool and that's good. Like, and Dave, I mean, that makes sense. And for me, that nudge and that pull will be there to upgrade forever. And as soon as I have a 4K, it's going to be real hard for me not to just move in that direction. So, There we go. And then finally, Microsoft ended their conference with the big game, Anthem. BioWare's new IP coming out in 2018. Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying, it looked fan-freaking-tastic. Probably, to me, the best-looking thing I saw this whole conference. But when will we ever see that game? Who knows? But mech suits, flying, swimming, Destiny feels, Division feels, and Iron Man. You know,
Horizon feels.
Horizon, yeah, totally. They took a lot of great things from a lot of different games, it seems, and are making this game. And yeah, if it turns out to be what they're showing, and we get it in the next 2 years.
So is this why Mass Effect was so lackluster?
I mean, it was their B team, basically, right?
That's
I feel like their A team was making this, and their B team made Mass Effect.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point, though. That very well could be.
I mean, some criticism I read about this, which I'm very hopeful for this game because it looked. I always love a huge. Some people don't have time to get into these big open worlds. I love open world games, and I love exploring with friends the most.
Yeah,
and the fact that you can fly in sort of like an Iron Man suit was so appealing to me. And one of the criticisms was, BioWare's a developer known for making very linear, deep RPG games, not big open world games. But to me, that tells me that this game has a very good chance of having a really great, deep story wrapped in this incredibly good-looking world. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, who knows when it's going to actually hit. But I'm looking forward to see more for that. For sure. That was definitely what I thought was one of the best, if not the best looking game at the conference. Or at the whole.
All right. Anything else for Microsoft, or shall we move on? Let's move on. Bethesda.
Lots of stuff.
Yes, Bethesda, Sunday night, 11 p.m., real late. And that's on the Central, East Coast, even later. Short. And from my view, I was a little disappointed at what Bethesda showed. Let's go through what they did show. They showed VR for Doom VFR.
That's a seizure waiting to happen.
Yeah.
That is
and
just
Fallout
brains,
4 VR.
Just brains jarring loose from the skull inside and just involuntary shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it'll work incredible, but man, that game is so fast and so fluid and so just nonstop. In VR seems like,
Killer.
Man, that's going to be great.
Yeah, my brain hurts already. Then they showed some Fallout 4 VR. Great, looks cool. The way they showed it makes me think it was more like Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, more than PlayStation VR. I'm sure it'll be available there, but
that seemed really cool. Like especially for like the base building stuff, the fact that you could be in it and design it that way. Like I thought, that would be really cool to do. I'm still not sure that I would like playing the game that way. But the fact that you have entirely playable game in these giant games, while Doom is not super as like Fallout is, but still that's an achievement to have a VR game like Fallout 4.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're getting there. Then they showed some Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, which just came out. So they showed a lot of that. Then they announced a creation club for the summer of 2017, basically bringing back paid mods to the store where you can buy mods and create them, and they're going to curate them. So Bethesda will be involved rather than just people making their own mods, putting them out there and other people buying them. Bethesda will be involved in curating those, making sure they're up to their standards. And you can be part of the creation club and making mods coming out this summer, bringing paid mods back to games like that, which people are excited about. Then we got some Skyrim on Nintendo. Hey, Chad, you want to buy Nintendo or you want to buy Skyrim for the fourth time? Do ya? Because it's going to be $60 again probably. Here, let's put some Link armor and give your Skyrim character the Master Sword. Now do you want it? Maybe. And then they showed the motion controls, and I'm like, I don't want that. because he was shooting the bow and arrow like sideways,
Pulling it back.
like it was like real weird looking.
I think they probably did that because they're going to have, a VR version, and they had to do motion controls for both of those.
So just
Seems like a lot of work for just the Switch version, so I think it's probably similar to the VR version.
That makes sense. And then we also saw that the amiibos are going to bring all those Zelda things in. So the amiibos will work with Skyrim, which pretty cool. And then we got Dishonored 2 DLC expansion. I think it's a standalone, honestly. Death of the Outsider coming out on September 15th. Dave, you finished Dishonored 2, correct?
Dishonored 2 was finished by me, correct.
Are you interested in the Death of the Outsider? The Outsider is the guy that gives you the abilities, correct?
Powers, yes, he is. Yeah, I'm always interested in more Dishonored. I like those games a lot. Dishonored 2 kind of got lost in the shuffle of big spring releases as far as me getting a platinum, because I planned on like doing a whole bunch of that game. But I did finish it at least. I played through it once with Emily. I think that's her name.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Emily. So
Emily
I never went back and played it as Corvo yet. I started it as Corvo and then I switched it, but I'm really interested in the DLC.
So that's out September 15th. You can play that. Looks cool. Then they showed some Quake Champions, more PC stuff. Quake is big. People love Quake, and they're doing some esports with Quake. Cool. And then we got two new games. Evil Within 2 coming out October 13th.
White yogurt demons.
Within? Yogurt, yeah.
Me.
Lots of yogurt. No, Evan. Josh, did you play Evil Within?
I did, yeah. I didn't finish it. I've still got it though. It's good.
Yeah.
Are you interested in a sequel? Does a sequel interest you?
I am interested in a sequel for sure.
Okay.
As am I.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not. I don't. Nope. I say a big old nope. So I mean, they introduced. Here's another reason. His daughter. Again, I don't know the storyline for the first one. I don't know if that's implied. I assume that's part of it. But his daughter's in this burning building. Like, you see her pounding on the glass, and then the whole house goes on fire, and he can't get to her. I don't need that. Plus, being scared. I don't need that. I don't need none of that. Then we got Wolfenstein 2, New Colossus, happening in America, October 27th. Evan said this got him happy.
Super hyped. I've never been interested in a Wolfenstein before, and interesting take on America, interesting take on some characters there. I may have to spend some money on Wolfenstein.
Yeah. I played The New Order when that first came out. I'm pretty sure I got it right away. And man, the game was so much fun. It started off slow. That was one of the things that probably held it back from more people playing, is it started slow, but once you got past that, which you should never have to get past anything in a game, but once you did, that game was, man, that was so much fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing and playing this too.
Yeah.
All right, that is all for Bethesda. Some Skyrim in space, which was a rumor going around. That did not happen. Maybe next year.
Did you say Skyrim in space?
Yeah, Starfield? It's Star something. They trademarked the name. There's rumors out there that this was going to be the next Elder Scrolls game, which would have been good for you. And it was going to basically be Skyrim, but in space.
Wasn't it like Star Bleeding or Star?
It was, I don't know. Star something. Starfield.
I am on board with that.
Yeah,
for sure. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, and then Todd Howard, right? Yeah, Todd Howard came out like shortly after the press conference. Someone asked him about it. And he's like, "Look, Elder Scrolls 6 has not even started development. Stop asking. Yes, we're going to do one, but we haven't started. So just drop it." And everyone's like, "Oh." So anyway, all right. Next we got Ubisoft Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time. They started off with, so we got a bunch of French people, right? That's what they all have, real heavy French accents, and they're very French. And they're fun to listen to. And then the French people brought up a Japanese. platform. So we have Miyamoto coming up with one of the heads of Ubisoft, and they announced, which we already knew, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, coming out August 29th. Basically, Mario XCOM, from what I understand.
It's a strange combo.
This actually took me by surprise. I'm actually really looking forward to getting this on the Switch.
Yeah, Miyamoto came out and he had a Bullet Bill hand cannon. And him and what's his name stood back to back and did a pose like Charlie Angel style.
With all the execs and creators that we saw, it's just interesting to see how unique it is when Miyamoto comes out. It's like, oh, here's royalty. Like all these other people, they don't matter. This person is like 5 levels above anyone else that's been on stage the entire show.
Yeah, Miyamoto is the best. He just carries charm and presence for sure. So to see him standing back to back with that guy with the hand cannon was pretty cool. So I'm not a big XCOM guy. I'm not a big strategy game guy, but you put a Mario skin on it, and it's on Switch. You can play it wherever you want. That's kind of cool too. So that is coming out August 29th, real soon. Then we got, let's see here, with Assassin's Creed. Obviously, we know it's coming out October 24th. That's where we saw most of the Assassin's Creed stuff, obviously being a Ubisoft game. I'm excited. Looks fantastic. We already talked a little bit about that. Then we got The Crew 2 coming out early 2018. More racing, more cars, looked cool. You could drive with your friends across the country and do stuff. All right. Yep. Then we got some stuff about South Park, The Fractured Butthole. October 2017 release date. That's gonna be. I think they have to hit it now. I don't think they can delay it anymore. So we're getting that game, and then they did also announce a mobile game, South Park game with free to play. A lot of microtransactions. So if you like your South Park that much, you can also go download that game. All right. Then we had Elijah Wood come on the screen, and some weird stuff happened. I really still am not entirely sure what was happening here. But Spectravision, I believe, is the developer. Real weird VR, a lot of experiments happening. Elijah Wood was saying things, and I didn't understand them. Didn't know what it was talking about. And then the game is called Transference. Does anybody have any idea or any input as to what this game is?
Interesting.
Okay. Fair.
I remember hearing or seeing Elijah Wood talk about something he was doing in the video game space a while back. I think that's as specific as he got whenever I saw that. But it doesn't surprise me that Elijah Wood is involved with something that's just super weird.
Yeah. So that no date or anything on that, but you working with Ubisoft on that. Then we got a real cool new IP from Ubisoft called Skull and Bones. Basically a 5v5 pirate ship, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, all the good things about that. That looks fun. That looks really cool. Thoughts on that?
I'd play it.
Yeah, if they could pull it off, this will be huge, but it looks like it's going to be tough to pull off.
It looked fantastic. The scenes were good. The boats were good. Basically, you're in control of a boat, and you have 4 other friends that come with you. They each have their own boat, different kinds of boats for different strategies and different things you want to do. And you can steal tea or gold. You can take out other ships, other pirate ships, and you can run into other players out there as well. They'll try to take yours. Very deep, very cool. If they can pull it off, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Then they showed a game. What's this, VR maybe? Or I can't remember. Starlink was another game they showed.
This is multi-platform. The interesting thing about it is available on Switch.
Okay, cool.
And they showed some toys, too.
That's right. They had some toys that went with it that you could swap things out for. All right, Starlink. Then they showed some more Steep, which is your winter sports skiing, snowboarding game. Then we saw some Far Cry 5 gameplay, which looks like more Far Cry. It looks real good. The whole, when they started off showing it, and they showed the guy in the church, right, and they're singing the song. He's holding the Bible in one hand and an AK in the other hand. He's got his shirt off because that's all people. That's what I do when I get up in front of our church to take my shirt off. I leave my gun on the floor.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
The scene I thought of. Don't do it. The scene I thought of. Did you guys see Kingsman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought of the church scene in Kingsman. I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
are they gonna do this? And they didn't. Not saying that you can't, but they didn't do that scene. But they showed some co-op stuff where there's a guy that was, I don't think he was another player, it was just AI, but he put him up, you could tell him where to go, so he had him, directed him to the water tower, and then he kind of snuck around the back and had him snipe a couple guys while he went in and shot, and then the dog came along, and you can hire this dog with treats, and the dog will attack the enemies, and they'll take their gun and bring their gun back to you, and then you can use the gun that the dog retrieved for you. So it's Far Cry. You're taking down, places, enemies, taking out the cultists, and it looks like fun. It didn't seem as heavy-handed with the whole, it's too close to reality thing. During this just seemed like more Far Cry, shooting people, craziness, which was fun.
The settings different enough from the previous couple of games that I like any Far Cry game I'm already interested in, but like I'm really intrigued to see where they go with that. But I feel like it's a cool idea. I like that it's like in the US this time.
Yeah.
Like it's familiar territory.
For sure. And then finally, Ubisoft finished off with something that people were real excited for. I played maybe a good 10 minutes of the first game, but Beyond Good and Evil 2 got basically a trailer for the game. You got some monkeys, you got a giant pig, and there's lots of shooting and some space or some floating cars and buses. If you like Beyond Good and Evil, I hear that you're really excited for this.
This was a big deal for a lot of people. I never played the first one, so
it's been a long
I have
time
no
coming.
idea.
Yeah. No date, no gameplay, so it could still be a long time out, but it's out there. The man that got out that's making the game, Ansel, I want to say his last name, literally was crying when he came out because he was so excited that it was actually a thing. And from what I understand, there's kind of a Kickstarter thing still going on where you can get involved in helping pay for and develop the game, being part of this program. But the man was crying. He was super excited and obviously has a lot invested into this game. So that was cool. I enjoyed that.
That's emotional.
So, all right, next, Sony, Monday, 8 p.m. Sony comes out. We mentioned briefly their conference at the beginning. Josh did a little bit on some of the weird things they're doing with the cultural music. Waterfall, making me have to go to the bathroom. Hanging people later during the Days Gone trailer. But it's Sony. I had a hard time finding a stream that had audio that I could hear.
Yeah, it was messed up.
At the beginning, it was messed up audio, yeah.
So that was strange. The other thing about strange about it is a lot of cuts to the people sitting in the audience. Like there's one where a dude had his laptop out laughing. It's like, why are we showing the audience?
One dude on his phone, I noticed. It was
yeah.
I think
Real strange.
this show was geared towards the audience more than anything else, and they were trying to give us a piece of that, but it didn't come over well.
Portray. But the games that they showed, first off, they started with Uncharted Lost Legacy. Cool. I'm super excited to play this. More Uncharted. I do like the characters and the setting. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to Uncharted Lost Legacy. Do we have a day for that? A date? I believe we do, don't we?
I don't remember.
Maybe not. I didn't write it down.
Nope.
No date. Okay. All right. Then we got some DLC for Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn. We're getting the Frozen Wilds 2017.
For some reason, it didn't even occur to me that we'd be getting DLC at any point for Horizon. I don't know why I didn't think of it. I just never thought of it. And like I'm really enjoying that game right now, so it's exciting to see like a whole other area and like new enemies and like all kinds of stuff. It looked cool.
And I wasn't entirely sure if it's just DLC or if it's literally like an expansion, like a Skyrim, Fallout 4 type expansion versus just a easy DLC.
That's
it might be big.
My mind automatically went to expansion.
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
So very cool. Then we got the Days Gone trailer and gameplay. More gameplay. What do you guys think? I'm hearing a lot of people say they're zombied out, and this is just like, it looks great, it looks cool, but more zombies.
I would say compared to last year, it's way more exciting, way more interesting. Seems like a very different take on the zombie thing. And
I'm in.
I don't know why they didn't announce the release date,
Yeah, no release
but
date.
it's 12/29/17, which in the grand scheme of this conference should have been in giant letters on
Yeah,
that.
that's-
That should have
you're
been
right.
up there huge, saying like it's actually
Why
coming
didn't they do
2017. But
That's
they
true.
announced
That's a
they announced
huge
it after the
miss.
conference, and it's just like that should have been there.
Yeah.
And that's,
I feel like it. Sorry, go ahead, Jed.
go ahead. No, go.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like it looks to me like a biker Last of Us almost.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if that's sacrilegious to say because Last of Us was such a masterpiece, but like that's sort of the vibe I get from it. The one thing, so like last year they like kind of stung it right at the end of their conference and teased it a little bit. The one thing about this gameplay trailer that they did that sort of turned me off a little bit is whoever was playing it. I understand that like sometimes video game AI is dumb, but when you're doing a play through for a trailer that you're going to show at a conference, I feel like you should do it better than whoever was playing this game. Like they were doing a lot of things that were very obviously like, if this were real life, the person that was like sneaking around was well in like eyesight, like line of vision for like the people he was sneaking around. And like, it seemed very like easy to game the AI, at least in the trailer that they showed. So they may tweak some of that like when the game finally comes out, but it just like that was the only thing that kind of turned me off a little bit. I'm still excited. Like I want to know what the story is and like what's going on, and it looks fun, but it just seemed odd. Some of that seemed odd.
Yeah, they had zombie bear. So I mean, a giant zombie bear with like a barbed wire fence wrapped around him, which was kind of cool. The weird thing,
Yeah, show me a zombie bear, and I'm like, yes.
the weird thing about that December 29th, that's a Friday, which isn't typically a big release date for games other than like Call of Duty, things like that. It could be a placeholder. I mean, it's possible. I know it's technically announced, but it'll be interesting to see if that's what they hit. So, all right, next, let's see here. Sean Layden came out. He did some talking, said some things about some stuff. And then we got a new game for PlayStation 4, also coming out on Xbox One and PC, Monster Hunter World 2018. Any of y'all play that there, Monster Hunter?
I played it back
Nope.
on the PSP.
Okay. Dave, any Monster
and-
Hunter?
I have not ever played Monster Hunter.
I played it on the PSP, and I bounced out real quick. Not
Yeah.
the game for me. I understand it's big for a lot of people. This one, though, has me interested again.
Okay. Based on the graphics, based on where it is.
I don't know, like the way, I don't know how much of that was like in game versus cutscene, or like if it was all cutscene and you can do some of this stuff. It's a lot more detailed than previous Monster Hunter games have been. Like there's like tactics and there's a lot more like strategy to it. Before, like Monster Hunter games, at least in my experience, the ones I've played were very fetch quest, just all the time fetch quest. And this looks more like there's like some strategy now, and you're using maybe different kinds of bait and different tactics depending on the animal you're hunting and stuff. It looks exciting to say the least, so I'd be
Cool.
willing to check it out.
All right. Early 2018 for that. Next, we got a big one. It resonated with lots of people, especially those PlayStation 2 fans. Japan Studios basically remaking from the ground up Shadow of the Colossus. Never played it. I know it's huge. I know it's a big deal. And I know a lot of people love it coming out in 2018, but they're not just HDifying it. They're basically, that's a remake. It's a remake of the first game. Looks awesome.
This was a surprise, right?
Oh, for me it was. I mean, not that
I mean, me too.
got my pulse and everything, but
I felt like nobody really expected this.
I think that seems to be the general consensus, and most people are really excited. So
Yeah.
I look forward. I plan to play that game. It looks real cool. Shadow of the Colossus. All right, then we got some Marvel versus Capcom Infinite coming out September. You can download the story demo right now if you want. I tell you, being a Marvel comics, just comics fan in general, those character models looked awful.
Yep.
Captain America looked like Rob Liefeld's Captain America, which is anatomy, impossible for a human to look that way. And Rocket looked bad. Chung-Li looked awful. I mean, I'm not a fighting guy, so it doesn't matter, but ugh.
I thought that too. Like they're what I'm assuming was supposed to be Ultron.
Yeah.
Looked real bad. The character models were not good.
So go play that, you big dorks. All right, next, Call of Duty World War II. Obviously, we know that's coming out in November. We knew we'd see a lot here. We got to see some multiplayer. We got to see some bombs drop. We got to see some carnage, some limbs being torn off. I'm excited to play some Call of Duty World War II.
It looks interesting.
Can't wait for that.
Did you guys share my thoughts on this, which is like, this is exactly what we wanted 2 years ago. Like I'm sure it's going to be exciting, but if this had shown 2 years ago, it would have blown me away. And instead, it's like, oh, good, they're catching up. Like,
that
was kind of my
I
thought.
understand your point.
see
Yeah,
that.
I get that because all the future stuff has definitely been overdone and could have used it 2 years ago. But I'm so excited after playing Battlefield 1, and again, neck deep in that game. I love the World War era. I love the history of it, and that's part of the draw for me. But to be able to play kind of old school feel Call of Duty with the very pretty look of it that you're going to be able to get now, I am very excited to play Call of Duty World War II. So November can't come soon enough. All right, next we got some PSVR stuff. We're going to have some Skyrim, Star Child, Final Fantasy 15 Fishing. Josh's Supermassive games were announced. Bravo Team, The Impatient. Those are two separate things. Bravo Team and The Impatient, which Impatient is a game that I'm like, nope, again, stupid horror, like mental institution. Don't. Why?
It looked really good to me.
Why?
I know that's not what you like, Chad. It looked real good to me. I was unclear though. Is that only VR or is that going to be playable without VR?
I think it's VR.
That's a good question.
Man,
I think it's VR.
I'm going to be really bummed if it's only VR because that game looked real good and it's going to be
VR.
quite a while before that happens, I'm sure. But
It's
it's good to see.
They showed
Supermassive thing with the kind of the horror stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then they also showed a game called Moss, where you basically looks like your little mouse guard running around in VR. There you go, VR stuff. Then we saw God of War, more God of War. We got an early 2018 announce. I'm excited for this game too. It looks real good. I like the Norse mythology that they're putting in there. I'm kind of hoping his son is Thor. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
That'd be cool.
But it looks great. From what I hear, it's got some Dark Souls type combat to it. The fact when he walked in on that one room and there was a pot there with his image on it, like old school Kratos on the pot, was kind of cool. A little meta. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the story on this. And obviously, I think the gameplay is going to be real fun.
I really hope it lives up to what like they're kind of showing, which is like exactly what they needed to do to bring God of War into like the current gen space. Like it's a little more open world. Obviously the graphics are a lot better, but like they're making it less 90s action movie and more like gritty, a little more grounded, but still huge.
Yeah.
So
all right. Then we got some Detroit Become Human. We got to see a different side to this game. No date or
No dates.
anything. Like not even they weren't confident enough to say 2018. David Cage, and I heard someone say, maybe it was you, Dave, I don't know, saying that it looks like it'd be something I'd like to watch as a movie, not necessarily play as a game. Like the story looks great. Maybe it wasn't Dave. I don't remember.
That wasn't me because I'd
Okay.
like to play the game for sure.
Yeah, you played recently, right? Played through Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I
it's
did.
it's obviously right up that alley. But it looks interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Who knows when we'll get it. All right, then we got some Destiny 2, more Destiny 2. I don't think there's really any reason to stay there. And then before I go to Spider-Man, after the conference is over, we did get an Act 2 date in September.
I should have made that one of
no-
my predictions.
What's that?
I should have made that one of my
Should have made
predictions.
that one of your predictions.
Yeah.
And then we got a Ni no Kuni 2 in November. And then so the final thing that they did do for the show was the Spider-Man gameplay trailer. We got to see the Negative Man and his henchmen and Mr. Walter Fisk and some of his henchmen. But what'd you guys think of the Spider-Mans?
Did you say Walter Fisk?
I did. That's not right. Wilson.
Yeah.
It's Wilson's cousin. He's his second hand.
I was
Walter.
like, for a second, I was like, does he have a relative that was in prison? Is that who that was?
You just believe me. You're like, well, he wants to know.
It's a meth dealer.
Yeah.
Man, I'm super
Ladies and
freaking
gentlemen.
excited about Spider-Man. This, the comparison was obvious, but people were comparing it to, the Spider-Man game years ago that everybody loved, where you're like swinging around the city. And I can't, for some reason, there's been so many, I can't remember which
Spider-Man
one it was
2.
now. Spider-Man 2,
It's
there
the
you go.
2002 Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah. I'm stoked. This is probably my most anticipated game of E3. I'm really, really excited. They sold me for sure. I was interested last year, and now I'm sold.
Yeah. How about you, Evan?
Spider-Man is something I'm looking forward to. But I mean, there wasn't anything here that disappointed me, and nothing here that made me jump up and down. So I am, when it comes out, I'll get it, and I'll have a good time, I'm sure.
Dave?
Well, I'm looking forward to buying this game 1.5 times, I guess, because I'm gonna have to buy it for my son, and then through game sharing, I'll buy it for me or you or whatever. One of the things I thought was really cool, and this might be just because I'm playing, I just platinumed Horizon, and I've been playing a lot of that in the last 2 days. But right off the bat, I noticed the stealth in Spider-Man. And it had even music that was kind of like it reminded me of when I was sneaking around in Horizon. And I like that aspect of not just swinging in and just going crazy, but like planning your moves. I liked how he's got this Spider-Man has the not necessarily start gadget. I don't know if that's tied into this, but it does have different types of gadgets that he can use. Like the one that he threw that little thing on the wall and it stuck out a web and pulled the guy to it without him even
was
being
cool.
down there.
Yeah.
It's very Arkham.
Yeah, I really liked that. The gameplay, I mean, it was they did a good job of making it very kind of cinematic. There's a lot of, seamless transitions between gameplay and, a cutscene, which is really cool nowadays that you can do that without loading and all that stuff. Like it says here in the outline, there were lots of QuickTime events.
What do you think about
Lots
that?
of QuickTime events. Lots of waiting for the ring to circle down alongside the button and then hit the button at the right time.
I think those just show well
To
at a
let people-
conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how much will that be used? Hopefully
Probably
it's not
Big
overused.
boss battles.
Yeah. Yeah, and this Spider-Man is a separate universe from the movies or anything, even the comics. It's its own. The suit was created for the game, doesn't exist anywhere else in Spider-Man lore, and the story will be standalone on its own from anything too. So
We did get Miles Morales right at the end.
well, is that confirmed?
Why
I
else
don't know
would
if
they
that's
have done
confirmed.
that?
Has it been confirmed?
That was him. It says they say Miles.
They say Miles. I feel like
Did they? I
there's
didn't
no other
catch
reason
that
to
part
do
then.
that. Yeah, he says Miles
Okay.
at the end.
I didn't hear that part. Okay, well that's cool.
So yeah, I was excited about that. Like that makes me curious about whether there's like this Spider-Man
More of
might be
them.
like, yeah, this Spider-Man might be like more experienced, and
Cool.
you get like a sidekick maybe later on or something, or
All right. I didn't
Yeah.
catch that part. That's cool. Yeah, so Spider-Man looks great. I can't wait. Big deal for Sony. to have that as exclusive on their platform. Very cool. And that does it for Sony. Finally, we get to Nintendo, which happened this morning at 11 a.m. Tuesday. 30 minutes, like Dave mentioned earlier. They didn't even call it a direct. They called it a showcase or something like that. So the montage of games that we already know, ARMS, Pokken Tournament, Mario Kart, things that have been announced and have been released. And then they got into one of the very first games, new quote-unquote games, is Xenoblade Chronicles 2, coming out in 2017. Anyone care about that?
I've not played any Xenoblade Chronicles games.
Good to have a game. Good to have a game.
Have you played the Xenoblade stuff? No? Okay.
Nope.
So some Japanese role-playing, turn-based game, which it looks cool. So then we got an announcement, a game I don't think anybody saw coming. At least I didn't. Kirby. Just Kirby. No subtitles, no nothing. 2018.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll play it.
I think I had some four-player co-op going on, which is interesting. Then we got an announcement that Game Freak is working on a traditional Pokemon in addition to the Pokken Tournament game. Yep, a traditional RPG Pokemon game for the Switch, which is cool. We had the creator standing there with his pencil over his pad of paper giving us the announcement that they're working on one. So that's exciting.
I think he described it as a core Pokemon game, so
there you go.
Hopefully it's not super traditional. Hopefully it's something new and interesting, but
sure, that would make sense too. And then we get Dave's prediction, which I honestly doubted you, Dave, big time on this one. We got Metroid Prime 4. That's all we got. We got the words on the screen, the words and the number, because 4 is a number, not a letter. No date and anything else, but they're working on it. So that's cool. Metroid Prime.
So I was looking at Nintendo's YouTube page afterwards, just seeing some of the stuff that they had announced later. And there was this thing on there that said Metroid Prime 4 first look. And I thought, wow, they should have showed this in their conference. And I hit play, and I was treated to the 30-second montage waiting for the 4 to come back on screen. That's all it was. It's just the same, that stupid thing again. Like, oh, 4, good, thanks.
Fooled me once.
But if Death Stranding can do it, I guess they can do it.
Sure. All right, so that is coming. Then we also, after the show, they announced that we're getting a Metroid Samus Returns game for the 3DS in September, which looks all right. Honestly, it looks pretty cool. It's been a long time since we've had a Metroid, so you can play one on your 3DS here in September. Then we got another announcement of a new game for 2018, Yoshi. Just that's it, just the name. It looks very similar to like what Yarn Yoshi was, Woolly World, Yoshi's Woolly World, except for the world was cardboard. And there was a mechanic where you could flip the entire world backwards. So you'd flip it around and you could access other areas and do other things. Looks super adorable. My kids would love this game. So Yoshi 2018. Then we got Fire Emblem Warriors. So if you like that Fire Emblems, they did a lot of anticipation with characters speaking, and we're getting the Fire Emblem Warriors game. So that happened. Fall 2017. And then they talked about Breath of the Wild. The best game on the Switch this year, in my opinion. It's one of the only 2 I have played. But Breath of the Wild DLC, in June 30th, the first one will be coming out. That's the one that they put for September, or for summer, rather. They showed like the path of the hero where you could see it. They showed the path or whatever the sword one was where you start off with just a stick and work your way through that. It looks real great. Going to get me back into that game. Then they gave the holiday. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I had in my notes that they did Skyrim just before this. Did they give a date on Skyrim?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, so that's just coming at some point.
It's out there still. Yeah. Then the second part of the DLC for Breath of the Wild for the holiday is going to be called Champions Ballad, and we're getting amiibos for each of the champions for the Divine Beasts. I don't know. I kind of got the impression that you may play Zelda instead of Link in this DLC. Did anyone else get that impression?
Seemed like there's a female character there. I don't know who it was.
I didn't watch the rest of the thing.
Okay,
I didn't notice this, I guess. Maybe I was texting you.
maybe. I mean, they didn't show any Link. They showed all 4 of the champions. They showed Zelda, and then they announced.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So that's just the implication I got. They didn't say, they didn't specify. I'm just like, oh, could we be playing as Zelda this time? Because it almost looks like a prequel.
It looked like Lady Link.
Lady Link. Linkle is what her
So
name
what
is.
is? So you're saying, like, what if this takes place prior to Link waking up?
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering, which is interesting. Cool idea. All right. So that was the Breath of the Wild stuff. They showed the amiibos, look real cool. Then we got, again, some more info on the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle on August 29th. Then we got Rocket League announcement for the Switch. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Rocket League's coming to the Switch holiday 2017. You're going to get Mario hats, special cars, obviously. And then they also announced that there will be cross-platform play with Rocket League. Switch can play with Xbox and with PC. But yet again, Sony says, no, we're not going to play with everybody else. And then they were asked. I read an article where a guy there asked, I think the same guy that said no one wants backwards compatible games, asked him, why won't you let anybody play with you with Rocket League or Minecraft? Why is everyone else is cool with it? What's going on? Why won't Sony do it? And his summarized reason was, well, there's lots of kids out there that play the Minecraft, and we got to be careful. We got to protect them. And the guy that was interviewing actually says, well, Nintendo, who is pretty much known for being almost backwards with this, they're cool with it. So what's the deal? And he's just like, well, I can't talk about the reasons, but it's our own stakeholders. And things is just what we're doing. So we're never saying it's off the table. But
Sony, who's been hacked more than any other gaming company,
Sony will be into it as soon as they're in second place. Okay, as soon as they're in second place, they'll sign right up.
Oh, sure.
It is kind of bizarre.
That's
though.
when they're going to
Why
change their
wouldn't-
names too, when they're in second place.
Yep.
Yeah. It's bizarre to me. I would love to be able to play cross-platform Xbox and PlayStation. That would be fantastic. But back to the original announcement, Rocket League on the Switch. Oh my gosh. I could play. I mean, you're going to have a Wi-Fi connection, obviously. But to be able to play Rocket League on the go, holy cow, that's freaking exciting.
Yeah, and you can use that cool headset for Splatoon.
Oh, man.
All right. And then finally, the big daddy of Nintendo's press conference, we got Mario Odyssey. What'd you guys think of that hat?
10/27/17.
Looks very good.
Yes,
It had a very, to me, I told Chad it had a very Mario 64 vibe to me, which I liked as far as watching it being played. The perception, the view, and all that stuff. I really liked it.
Yeah. Did you see he threw his hat? So you can take over enemies by throwing enemies that wear hats. You can throw your hat on the enemy, and you become that character. So Mario's becoming
a T-Rex.
Yeah, he was a T-Rex. It was a Mario T-Rex with a mustache and a Mario hat. That's how
And
the
a
trailer
regular
started.
human.
Yeah, that one's a little weird. I'll be honest with you. That one's creepy. But the one I really liked is the frog.
Among Nintendo's strange decisions, how about their Treehouse using one of the worst Mario players that I've seen to showcase the game, start that Treehouse off. He jumps off the edge of the world 3 times, couldn't jump on the kept trying to do the same thing, kind of jumping off of the world. Oops, second time, whoops. Well, third time's a charm. If you don't get it, then don't try again. You're going to run out of jokes here soon, buddy. Better get up there.
I like to imagine that Reggie was in his ear, like, I'm going to kill you if you die again.
Well, the developers were literally sitting right over there. The 2 Japanese dudes, they were wearing the hats. The one was wearing the white top hat. The other was wearing the Mario hat. They're just going, man, you're making our game look real hard. It's not that hard. Yep. But that goes back to what Josh was saying, getting the worst people to demo these games. They should be the best. And he just kept falling off the back of it. I'm like, is my 6-year-old playing this? What's going on? It looks cool.
I love the
I'm
idea.
super excited to play that.
I love the idea, Evan, that Reggie's like in that guy's ear threatening him. I feel like Reggie could be real scary if he wanted to.
He's a big man.
And that
He's a
would be
big man.
terrifying. I feel like maybe that's why that guy was screwing up so much, because he did it the first time, and then
He's
Reggie's like,
very
"You better
afraid."
freaking get this," and that guy's like, "Oh my God, Reggie's gonna strangle me."
Beat you up. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You don't do it again. Oh, you did it again.
Yeah. Defease May, angry man. All right. So that does it for Nintendo. I'm excited. Man, again, the ability to play these games on the go, to be able to play Mario in the car, to be able to play, that just raises the level of anticipation for games like that. It makes me glad that I got a Switch right away because I'm super excited to be able to play that game. All right, those were all the press conferences. We went over everything. Hopefully we didn't make you fall asleep. We're going to finish up the special edition podcast by giving you our top 3 moments. And I think we kind of touched on a lot of them up to this point, but briefly give our top 3 moments that we felt meant the most to us for these press conferences. We'll start off with guest, Mr. Evan Steele.
Okay, now I'm down on E3 as a whole. There's a lot of moments that were interesting and probably could have been in my number 2 or 3. There could be about 10 things that are there because there was a number of interesting things. These things there was nothing that really jumped out other than A Way Out. So A Way Out is my number 1. That emotional, dynamic co-op. I'm looking forward to that experience. I'll give number 2 to Rocket League for Switch, just the ability to play that on the go, and what a third party like Rocket League coming to Switch means. If Rocket League, who doesn't need the exposure, is going there, then a lot of other people should be headed there too, which is exciting. I would give my number 3, I suppose, to Wolfenstein, this new Colossus. Hey, I was not interested until this moment, and now it's on my radar, so that's a good thing.
How about you, Dave?
I'm really interested in Anthem from BioWare. It's not coming out for probably a while, but that was one of the things that caught my eye here for the conference. One of the best looking games there. Again, open world in Iron Man suits with your buddies. I mean, come on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Number 2, I was also very impressed with A Way Out. Evan talked about that and did it justice. So I will move on to number 3, which is basically me just reiterating myself that I was reminded again in this conference that I very much still need an Xbox. Games like Ori and the Will of the Wisp, State of Decay 2, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, the other things that were mentioned. I was impressed with that, and I'm looking forward to getting back into that at the end of this year when I pick up that Xbox One X.
Xbox One X. Yeah. It's extreme. All right, Josh, how about you?
Man, my number 1 by far was Spider-Man for sure. I'm super excited. Playing Spider-Man 2 back in the day, and like I would just spend so much time just web slinging all around the city. Like the freedom and the mobility and just how cool that was and how fluid. If you got real good at it, you could do like some pretty cool stuff. Like the physics of like swinging all the way through on your web and like, like when you're swinging as a kid on a swing and you get it up to the top and then there's that moment where you're just there and then before you come down, like the physics were pretty good on that. So I used to have some fun and like learn how to do some other stuff and you could flip around and do all kinds of things. So I'm looking forward to doing that in a game again. And the fact that it's a new Spider-Man game on current gen is such a big bonus. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the story is and like the combat looks really good. Again, it looks very Arkham-like, but Spider-Man. So that, but much more like where the Arkham games were in the combat, like it was very like pile driver. Like you felt like there was a lot of power there, and it was just very like crushing. The combat in the Spider-Man game seemed a lot more fluid, and a lot more
faster.
Yeah, a lot faster.
Like Spider-Man
not
would
so
be.
like bulky.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Detroit looks really interesting to me too. I loved Heavy Rain. I did not play Beyond Two Souls, but I heard good things about that as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Detroit is all about. I like games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. I like the ability to affect the story by how you play the game. Impatient looks really, really cool to me. I'm going to be bummed if it's just VR, although I was saying that it's exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I'm already interested, and if I ever have the money to throw at it, I for sure, whatever, whenever I get VR, that's the one I'm getting.
Yeah.
So it is what they needed. Like they needed some VR exclusive titles. So if that's what it ends up being, I can't fault them for it, I guess. But it looks really good. I do want to give one honorable mention. I didn't see it anywhere in any of the press conferences during E3, but a game I've been following for a while is a game called Vampire. It's VAMPYR.
Right.
So it's by an as far as I know, an independent studio. I don't even remember the name of the studio, but it is. I'll give you their kind of blurb about it. It seems really interesting. So it says, London, 1918. You're a newly turned vampire, Dr. Jonathan Reed. As a doctor, you must find a cure to save the city's flu-ravaged citizens. As a vampire, you're cursed to feed on those you vowed to heal. Will you embrace the monster within, survive and fight against vampire hunters and other monstrosities? So it feels sort of Bloodborne-esque to me, and I think that was what pulled me in the first place. The setting looks really cool. The idea of being in this situation, but also being a doctor, and the conflict there, and powers that go along with being a vampire, and it seems like there's some kind of a karma system depending on how you act in the game too. So,
is it playable at the show? Do you know this week or?
I can't tell. I know that they did release they have what they call an E3 trailer, so they did announce a release window. It's November of this year that it's coming out.
Okay. And
they released a full trailer for it. It's been in development for a while. So I'm excited about that. I'm anticipating that game. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Very
that's
cool.
My honorable mention.
All right. Good job, Colin Moriarty, in your honorable mentions. All right. For me, same with Dave. Anthem. That game just hit all the right chords with me. It gives me that Destiny feel with Iron Man in a suit with friends. That's cool. I won't rehash what Dave said because he did a good job as well. I mentioned earlier God of War. I'm super excited for that. I love the Norse mythology stuff. Like I said, I really want the kid to be Thor. I don't know. I heard that conspiracy theory out there, and it made sense to me, and that seems really neat. And then finally, really want the kid to be Thor. Yes. And then finally, Assassin's Creed Origins. I love Assassin's Creed. When I got into that, I played the very first one. Not immediately, but I played the first one. Loved it. Second one obviously was such a huge leap from what the first one was, and it did well. I loved Ezio. I loved that collection. Unity, it fell apart a little bit. And the most recent one, I forget, the one in London, I never finished that. But this is made. The changes that they've made, which they're subtle. It is definitely still Assassin's Creed, but it's different than what Assassin's Creed has been recently. And the way that there's gear, and it matters what weapons you have, and there's XP. There's not a mini-map with a bazillion things on it right in front of your face all the time. There's a compass, and just the environment and where it's set. These guys are editing the Google Doc. It's really not okay. They're distracting me, so I'm excited for Assassin's Creed, and I really hope that kid is Thor. All right, so that's going to do it. Not going to read those. That's going to do it for this podcast. As always, we are so grateful and thankful that you take the time to download the episodes and listen to them, hopefully at least most of the way through. If you get to the end, you get some real weird stuff sometimes. But we do appreciate you being here. We appreciate you watching on YouTube if that's how you do it as well. Remember, we're giving away a PlayStation 4. If you want to get an entry into that, subscribe to the YouTube page. If you have already done so, just send us a screenshot of your subscription to southcoregamer@gmail.com. Someone was about to say something. Go ahead.
So I was just going to make a dumb joke about PlayStation Thor, but the moment's passed.
PlayStation Store, I get it. All right. So win that PlayStation Thor. We'd love to give it away. Yeah, there you go. That's all I have. Thanks for listening. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There's never been a better time for video games than 2017, but that until 2018, and that time is better because that's when all these games are coming out. All right, that's it. We're going to say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, the piece of E3 quesadilla, Thor's hammer, little kid's pizza. Yeah.
No.
Oh, God.
Little kids. No, you don't. Bye, YouTube. I'll end the misery for you. Good night.